Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is June 27th, 2025, and Jan Laporta and Ronald Koeman have buried the hatchet. Also, Javier Tebas explained what exactly transpired in that meeting with the pathetic club called Athletic Club de Bilbao. And finally, Barcelona have set a deadline for the activation of the release clause of Nico Williams so that pathetic, mediocre club Athletic Club Bilbao can cry even more. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and this is the Barca News Live podcast, which is on every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where not only we discuss Barcelona news, but where I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments, answering your questions, and getting that discussion going. For those of you who will be watching when the podcast ends, I will be putting timestamps in the description, chapters in the timeline, in case you do want to skip through the discussion and get straight into the news. Having said all that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and all this helps the channel continue to grow. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to Goal Kids, Kickback, or Fanatics. If you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure to bet us. All links are down below in the description. You click on them, you get access to some pretty cool deals and offers, courtesy of Barca News. Now, just a reminder, tomorrow, Saturday, will be the weekly podcast for channel members. As you know, Barca News now has a weekly podcast every Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for members only, where you get to ask whatever the hell you want. Doesn't even have to be Barcelona related. It could be about anything. You dictate what the conversation is. I'm just here to serve. And also, I'm currently working on a Discord server for channel members as well. So if you want to be part of that server, if you want to be able to watch these weekly podcasts on Saturday, make sure to become a member by going to the home tab of the channel and click join. There are 3 tiers of membership. You can click on them, choose whichever one suits you best. All right, let's begin with the news. And as always, the first segment of this podcast is comprised of several bits of news, all combined together for sake of brevity. Started with our beloved Spotify Camp Nou, which is still undergoing major renovations. 2 years now undergoing renovations. By the way, I did do a couple of, I think it was 2. I can't remember. Maybe it was 1. I did 2 videos when I visited the Camp Nou during the construction. If you want to see kind of like what it used to look like, you could check it on the channel. There's a special playlist called Vlogs or Video Blogs. You can check it out there. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about because Barcelona have issued a statement in regards to the debt of the Espai Barça. Now, if you don't know what the Espai Barça is, it's the project that encompasses the renovation of the Camp Nou. The Espai Barça is not just the renovation of the Camp Nou, it's also other projects. For example, the renovation of the Palau Blaugrana, which is where the basketball team plays, the inside hockey, the hockey team too, I think. Anyways, doesn't matter. I don't watch those sports, so I don't care. Just kidding. You should care. But the Espai Barça, it's the renovation of the Camp Nou, the Palau Blaugrana, all the offices around the stadium. Pretty much like an entire campus all being renovated. But Barcelona borrowed around 1.45 billion euros, so 1.5 billion euros Barcelona borrowed. And well, the club have announced that they have restructured some of that debt. Now, to explain something before we talk about Barcelona, be more specific. Usually when companies take out big loans, it's usually the debt is divided into 3 portions. You have your short-term debt, your mid-term debt, and your long-term debt. Short-term debt is something that you have to pay off in the next 4 or 5 years, right? Mid-term, maybe 10, 12 years. And then long-term debt is something you have to pay off over a period of, 20 years, right? So out of this 1.45 billion euros that Barcelona had borrowed, a third of it, 424 million euros, was due by 2028. So that was the short-term debt of this whole package that Barcelona borrowed. 424 million euros that Barcelona needed to pay in full by 2028. Now, Barcelona have announced that they have restructured this debt with the help of Goldman Sachs, and this debt will now be due, or Barcelona need to start paying it. Sorry, not fully due, but They need to start paying it by 2033. So it's been pushed from 2028 till 2033. So Barcelona will have 5 more years to start paying this debt, and it's expected that it will be fully paid by 2050. It's kicking the can down the road. This will give Barcelona more time to pay it off, of course. But with more time means more interest. More interest, that means the loan will only get more and more expensive. But that's the news in regards to this debt concerning the Espai Barca. Now, more news in regards to the Spotify Camp Nou, because the city council of the city of Barcelona have their doubts that the stadium will be ready for the Joan Gamper Trophy. As you know, Barcelona are hoping to play the Joan Gamper Trophy on August 10th. Well, not they hope. That's the deadline that they have set, that they're going to return to the Spotify Camp Nou by August 10th, the Joan Gamper Trophy match against Como, says Fabregas is Como. And Barcelona were hoping to have 60,000 people. But the city today, one member of the city council said he has doubts about this deadline. Why? It has to do with the permits, right? Barcelona have applied for the permits. But if Barcelona want to have 60,000 people by the Joan Gamper Trophy by August 10th, that means the first 2 rings need to be done by then, because the first 2 rings is what's going to be open until the stadium is fully open, right? The stadium is not going to be done until 2026. With the first 2 rings going to be reopened first, they can host 60,000 people. The 3rd ring will continue to be built until the summer of 2026. But in order for the permits to be issued, the 2 rings that will hold 60,000 people have to be fully done, right? So the city's not going to issue permits based on, we think we're going to be done. No, the city has to see that the rings are fully done, that they can host people, and then they would issue permits. And as of now, the city's like, the rings are not done. I don't know if they're going to be done on time. And even if they are, I don't know if we're going to be able to issue the permits on time. So the city's currently putting a big question mark next to that August 10th return date, which is the Joan Gamper Trophy. Hopefully they're wrong, and hopefully we can be back. Or even if we're not back by the Joan Gamper Trophy, I hope we're back this season, right? I don't care if the Joan Gamper Trophy ends up being played somewhere else, as long as we can play the full season at our home stadium. Now, more news, because we now know the date that Lamine Yamal will receive the number 10 jersey. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Ansu Fati, done. He's gone, right? He already completed his medical testing. He will be joining Monaco on a 1-season loan. Option to buyback clause for Barcelona, blah, blah, blah. But with Ansu leaving the club, that leaves the number 10 ready for Lamine Yamal to inherit it. And it's been revealed that, ladies and gentlemen, Barcelona will give Lamine Yamal the number 10 kit on his birthday. Lamine Yamal will turn 18 years old on July 13th. So that's like in a little over 2 weeks. And when Lamine Yamal turns 13, 2 things will happen. Not 13, 18. When Lamine Yamal turns 18, 2 things will happen. First, he will officially sign his contract extension until 2031. Because remember, if you're under 18, you can only sign 3-year contracts. 2031 is 6 years away. So for that to happen, Lamine needs to be 18. Now, the agreement is all done. Negotiations done. Lamine Yamal has already agreed to stay at the club until 2031, but he cannot put pen to paper until he's 18 years old, which happens on July 13th. So July 13th, Lamine Yamal will put pen to paper. He will officially extend until 2031. And then Barcelona will give him the number 10 jersey, the legendary number 10 jersey, the kit that was worn by the likes of Lionel Messi, the greatest player ever to play the sport, and others like Ronaldinho and Rivaldo. So number 10 jersey to Lamine Yamal on July 13th on his birthday, where he will also put pen to paper and officially link himself to the club until 2031. And speaking of the kit, as you know, the home kit for the 2025-2026 season will be officially available on July 2nd. July 2nd, that's only 4 or 5 days away. You will be able to buy the home kit for the 2024-2025 season. And the away kit is expected to be available during the Asia Tour. More specifically, the team is going to wear it against Vissel Kobe. We still don't know when the 3rd kit will be announced, but July 2nd, you will be able to purchase the home kit. This is, of course, what's expected to look like. This is thanks to Memorabilia 1899, who are pretty good about their leaks, but this is what the home kit will look like. Again, available July 2nd, 2025. This is the away kit, which is the Kobe Bryant version, the Mamba version, in honor of the late Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players to ever live. And then finally, the third kit, which will be this, I guess, orange color. It looks like the Dutch kit, I guess. I mean, I don't mind it. Honestly, the orange with the blue will look good. I mean, they chose the right player to put it on, Frankie de Jong, given that he's Dutch. I don't mind the orange one. I'm definitely getting the Kobe one, the Black Mamba one. And I'm not feeling the home kit. I'm just not. This whole Blaurana bars blending in together. It just looks like the artist was drawing it, and then he went to get a cup of coffee, spilled coffee on it, and then it all blended together, and he was like, fuck it, I don't want to redo it. I'm just going to submit it. I don't know. I don't like the home kit, but I do want to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions. Let me know which one is your favorite kit, and will you be getting any of them? Let me know in the chat section or in a comment section if you're watching this once it ends. And with that, let's do the comment section. And then we are going to talk about Jan Laporta, because he has officially buried the hatchet with Ronald Koeman. The two of them will no longer kill each other. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. But anyways, let's see. Koroma says, when it comes to Barca news, you are the best, man. Thanks for everything. Much love from Sierra Leone. Keep it up. I wish to see you one day. You are my mentor. Well, thank you, my friend. I really, really appreciate the words. I appreciate the comment and the support. I hope to go to Sierra Leone one day. That'd be absolutely amazing. I've actually never been to the African continent at all. So I hope to one day be able to visit. There's a lot of countries that I would love to visit, starting with North Africa. I want to go to Egypt, see the pyramids. I want to go to Morocco. I want to go to Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, South Africa. I mean, there's a lot of lists. So much to see in this world in so little time. So little money to see it all, but I hope to see it one day. That'd be absolutely amazing. And John says, hey Mo, say what's up from Jamaica, how you'll come to visit our beautiful island someday, and hope I can I start a fan club here in Jamaica? Do I have to do I would love to visit Jamaica one day. You don't have to start a fan club. That's not needed. I would love to go and enjoy the beach, eat some jerk chicken. That'd be absolutely amazing. Maybe smoke some ganja. But I would love to visit Jamaica one day. It's definitely on the list. And my man Cornell, what's up, man? Says, yes, sir, I made it to the live podcast. Well, welcome, my friend. Welcome. I hope to see you in this next year's, I guess, Barca trip. Hopefully, we'll be able to watch a match at the Camp Nou rather than at that Olympic Stadium, a shitty Olympic Stadium. Yo says, well, it's actually yo says, hey Mo, I don't understand how professionals can play this many games in dead third game. I'm dead third game in 2 days. Oof. I mean, obviously athletes are just have an incredible physique, right? They're not like us mere mortals. Their bodies are different, right? Their muscle recovers a lot faster. Their ability for their muscle to store oxygen is a lot different. Their ability for their heart to pump blood is a lot different. The ability of their lungs and their lung capacity, to be able to give your body all the oxygen it needs is way different. So they're just built differently, honestly. Half of it is honestly just luck. These people are just born that way, right? Obviously, the other half is a lot of hard work and dedication. I'm not going to take that away. But part of it is just luck. You hit the genetic lottery, right? If you and I trained every single day and night for the next 20 years, we're just never going to be as good as those people because they simply possess specific set of skills and talent, and their bodies are just certain way where no matter how much you train, you're just never going to achieve that, right? Because they're just biologically different. Plus, it helps, of course, all the training that they have, nutritionists and physical trainers and coaches and doctors, and that pretty much break down to them minute by minute of every day of their life, right? They know exactly what they're going to eat, how much they're going to eat at what time, and that includes meals, snacks, supplements. I mean, how much water they need to consume based on the day, on the week, on the weather, on the everything. You know, how much water at what time. Their sleep cycle is studied down to the minute, when you go to sleep, when you wake up, when you take naps. I mean, it's a combination of everything, right? They're just anatomically different, and plus they have all this science behind their success that helps them, you know, perform at a much, much, much higher level. Nonetheless, though, they're still human beings, right? And this whole ridiculousness of making tournaments longer and adding more and more tournaments, Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, PP League, and Pupu League. And it's like the Club World Cup is now 1 million matches instead of just 2 or 3. And FIFA international breaks every other week. I mean, it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of fucking hand. By the way, I just said PP League. I think I like that. Someone should make that into a league. Triple X says, if we fail to sign Nico after all of Laporta's loud mouth, like only he can, I'll take out a loan to fly to Spain to kick the politician out of our club myself. Yeah, it would be pretty bad if we don't end up signing Nico. But all the signs show that he is, right? This time it's Nico that approached us, not us him. He was like, yo, I want to join. He already reached an agreement to join. He's already cleared his locker at Athletic Club Bilbao. He's already told Athletic Club Bilbao he's leaving. In Barcelona are confident they can trigger the release clause, which we'll talk about it in a little bit. And Barcelona are confident they're going to be able to register him. So it looks like this time is happening. But if it doesn't, it would be a big, big fail. I'm not going to lie. So hopefully that doesn't happen. And Jesse says Barcelona should sign Breno Bidon. He's exactly like Pedri. He's just 20, very cheap also. I mean, here's the thing. We have 1 million midfielders. The last thing we need is yet another one. But anyways, let's get back to the news, because we do have to talk about Jan Laporta and Ronald Koeman, because the two of them have officially buried the hatchet. Now, Ronald Koeman has a summer tournament called the Koeman Cup. It's a golfing tournament that he holds every year. And Jan Laporta was present at that tournament. He was seen playing golf with Koeman, riding in the same golf cart as Koeman. And then after they played golf, they both gave an interview combined where the two of them announced that, well, they have officially buried the hatchet. Let's look at their interview. And of course, after that, I will be reading to you what the two of them said. The interview is Spanish. So there's Jan Laporta. How does Jan Laporta look a little goofy to you? I say that in a good way. I don't want people having a meltdown in the comments. Look at my capo, hates Laporta. He's a Peter Fon supporter.
Sí, hemos tomado el café. Al final sí hemos hecho. Yo creo que el más importante es el Barça. Yo creo que a veces en la vida, no hay a veces, hay cosas mucho más importantes que un problema o un conflicto entre dos personas. Yo creo, por el bien del Barça, por el bien del presidente, por el bien de mi parte, yo creo que hemos hecho los pases. Tampoco hemos hablado mucho que ha pasado. Yo creo que hay que pasar esta página. Y una vez más, el Barça es lo más importante.
Es patrimonio del Barça, Ronald Koeman, presidente.
Primero de todo hay cariño porque Ronald, aparte de ser una leyenda del Barça, es una gran persona. Y bueno, yo creo que esto nos une. Nos une el Barça, nos unen muchos sentimientos que compartimos y la verdad es que pensábamos que no tenía sentido lo que estaba ocurriendo y bueno, hemos hecho... No fue café, fue fue un carajillo.
¿Quién dio el paso? ¿Quién dio el paso un poco para la reconciliación?
Los dos, porque tenemos amigos comunes y bueno, que nos reencontraron.
Ha sido fácil, ¿no? Ponerse de acuerdo.
Muy fácil porque Ronald es un nombre estable.
So there you have it. The two gave an interview together, officially saying that they have buried the hatchet, that everything's good between them. As you saw, they were all smiling, laughing. Really, really cool moment, by the way. I'll talk about it a little bit more. But first, let's review what they actually said, because I know it's in Spanish. A lot of people don't understand Spanish. But this is what Ronald Koeman said. the most important thing is Barca. I believe that sometimes in life there are more important things than a conflict between two people. You have always asked for a long time if we had a coffee together. Yes, the most important thing is Barca. Sometimes in life it is more important than a conflict between two people for the good of Barca, myself, and the president. Then John Laporta said the following. There is affection because Ronald, obviously talking about Koeman, apart from being a Barca legend, is a great person. And this unites us. There are many feelings that we share, and we thought that it didn't make sense what was happening. Both of us, now he was asked about, who made the first step for this reconciliation, and Laporta said both of us, and also thanks to our mutual friends. And then he clarified because Koeman said they had coffee together, and Laporta said it wasn't a coffee, it was a carajillo, which is more stimulating, and the two laughed. Of course, if you don't know what a carajillo is, it's coffee made mixed with alcohol, so kind of like a Irish coffee, I guess. So that was like a joke. Like, no, we didn't actually have coffee. We had a carajillo, which is coffee with alcohol, because it's more stimulating. But I have to say, I really, really enjoyed seeing this. I really like the fact that the two of them have buried a hatchet, because since the firing of Koeman, it's just been a war between the two, where Koeman says something and then Laporta says something back, and then Koeman says something and then Laporta. There's just been a lot of this back and forth, dissing each other, criticizing each other. And it's really nice to see that the two of them have come together, have said, hey, like, what are we doing? Like, at the end of the day, we got to put Barca ahead of, our pettiness. And I really, really like that, because Koeman might have been a shitty coach, but at the end of the day, he's a Barca legend. And I know a lot of people don't think of Koeman that way because he played in the 90s, and a lot of people who watch the channel weren't alive, or if they were alive, they were little kids when Koeman was at Barca, including me. When Koeman was at Barca, I was like 2 or 3 years old, so I didn't actually watch his matches. Now, as an adult, I do go back and I've watched his highlights and I've watched some of his moments. But Koeman is a Barcelona legend, and I don't say that lightly. Like, he was part of the dream team, right? He was the hero of Wembley. He scored the goal that gave Barcelona its first Champions League ever. So he is a Barca legend as much as Xavi or Iniesta or Busquets or all those guys are, right? And he might have been a shitty coach, but at the end of the day, he is a Barca legend. And I'm glad to see that a Barca legend, is being once again linked with the club, that has a good relationship with the club, because as a club that holds itself to its values, as a club that says, más que un club, we should always be linked with our legends who gave us so much success, our legends who are part of our history, right? Barcelona was not born a great club. In 1899, when Joan Gamper established this club, Barcelona was not a great club. It was a nobody club. And then eventually, thanks to people like Koeman and other legends, is that it became a great club. So this club should always be linked with its legends. It should always have a good relationship with its legends. So I'm very, very happy that Laporta and Koeman put aside their beef, and they are, have buried the hatchet, because that's how it should be. It should always be a good relationship between the club and its legends. And the same thing you've always said about Xavi, right? I've always criticized Xavi. I've said he's a shitty coach. I still maintain that position, that he was a shitty coach, but you cannot forget also that he was a legend. And that's why it's important to separate the two. As I've always said, it's important to separate Xavi the player from Xavi the coach. Xavi the coach was shit. Xavi the player, one of the greatest players in the history of the club, one of the greatest players in the history of football. Same thing with Koeman. Koeman the coach, shitty coach. Koeman the player, a Barca legend. And that we cannot forget. So we can't separate the two, which people seem to have a pretty easy job doing that with Koeman. They realize that. But with Xavi, oh my God, they have a meltdown. I don't know why. Maybe because Xavi is a more recent legend. But very, very happy to see these two bury the hatchet. Very happy to see how the two of them were together, laughing, smiling. So really, really cool. Now, Laporta was, during this interview, also after they talked about their relationship, he was asked, of course, about what's going on with the whole Athletic Club de Bilbao situation, right? As you know, Athletic Club de Bilbao, the president, flew to Madrid, went crying like a little bitch to John Laporta. To Javier Tebas, like, they're going to sign my player. Please help me block them. Of course, there was exchange of statements. I covered all of that in yesterday's video and podcast from Wednesday. But John Laporta, during this interview, was also asked, hey, like, what's going on with Athletic Club de Bilbao? Why are being such little bitches? And this is what Laporta had to say. I won't talk about players. I only talk about the opportunities available in the market. And there are many. If there's an opportunity in the market that requires paying a release clause, then Barcelona is ready to do what is necessary. In other words, John Uriarte, who is the president of Athletic Club de Bilbao, we can and we will pay the release clause. So, in other words, go fuck yourself. Everyone does what they think they have to do. We are doing what Barca has to do when it comes to taking advantage of market opportunities, following what our director of football and our coach tell us. I respect what Athletic do as I expect them to respect what we do. I don't respect what they do because they're a bunch of little bitches. What Barca does concerns Barca, and La Liga knows the club's accounts are confidential. We are meeting all the requirements they set, ensuring we can take advantage of opportunities in the market. Barca is prepared to, if a market opportunity involves paying a clause, do what corresponds. Since we are not hiding anything, let them conduct the inspection. We have no issue, but we do want everyone to be treated by the same standard. We feel neither harmed nor persecuted. We are focused on doing our job. A really great response by John Laporta to what Athletic Club Bilbao is saying. Like, look, hey, they want to inspect us, come inspect us. Look, we're doing everything by the book. We have the money. We're going to trigger the release clause. So in other words, John Uriarte and Athletic Club Bilbao, go fuck yourselves. And honestly, again, really good response by Laporta. This is why I could never be a Barcelona president, because if it was me, I would have went ham on that mic. I would have been like, look here, John Uriarte, you are a little bitch. Straight up. I would have said that. I would have gotten myself in trouble. There have been headlines everywhere. Barcelona president Mo loses his shit, goes ham on the mic, drops a diss track. But no, really, really well handled by John Laporta. Again, I've said it many times. I don't understand what Athletic Club Bilbao are doing. The fact is, Nico Williams has a release clause. If Barcelona can't pay that release clause, that's it. There's nothing they could do. It's the law. It's how the contract was structured. It's done. There's nothing they could do. Whether Barcelona can afford to pay the release clause or not, whether they got that money legitimately or not, whether they can register the player or not, that's none of Athletic Club de Bilbao's business. As long as they receive the money, that's it. The player is released. That's why it's called a release clause. Everything else is between Barcelona and La Liga. It's La Liga's job to make sure that Barcelona have the financial fair play to register the player. That's it. The rest is none of Athletic Club de Bilbao's business. So why are they crying like little bitches? I don't understand. I mean, it's like, what are we doing here? Like, oh no, another club, it wants to sign one of our players. Like, when have you heard that? When have you heard of a football club trying to sign a player of another football club? You know, in 100 years plus of football, I've never seen a football club trying to sign a player from another football club. That's pretty much what they're doing. And it's like, here's the thing, bro. He has a release clause. If you pay it, that's it. He's not yours. Done. You can't handle it? Too fucking bad. You think the release clause is too low? That's on you. You're the one who negotiated. You're the one who agreed to it. You're the one who signed the contract. Next time, negotiate a better contract. Simple as that. Anyways, let's do the comment section, and then we are going to talk about Javier Tebas, because Javier Tebas did clarify what happened with the crybaby, mediocre, little bitch of a club called Athletic Club de Bilbao, which, by the way, at this point, honestly, I don't even know why I mentioned their name. They're not even worth our time or our breath. Oh, we have a donations. I'm sorry, guys. I forgot about the donations. Ragnar says we need left-footed center backs to pair with Pau. We do. We have Inigo Martinez. Is Christensen left-footed? He's not, right? I think Christensen and Araujo are both left-footed. Actually, let me see this. What's his name? Yeah, I think Inigo Martinez is the only left-footed center back that we have. Is Eddie Garcia left-footed or right-footed? I think he's right-footed, isn't he? Eddie Garcia is blum bum bum. Do they have this? No, he's right-footed. Eddie Garcia is right-footed, and I think Kunde is right-footed as well. So yeah, I think Inigo is the only left-footed center back we have. I mean, do we need one? Not really. Is it better if we have one? Yes, but I don't think it's like a must where you have to have a left-footed one. And if you don't, you know, that's it. You're going to lose every match you're going to play, and you're going to lose every trophy. Let me see. Is Landry Farré a left-footed? Landry Farré is... Oh, so you have Landry Farré, who's actually ambidextrous. Well, is it ambidextrous for right? Or is that just your hands? Anyway, Landry Farre can use both his feet or both his legs. So I guess we have Landry Farre and Inigo Martinez, who could technically be left-footed center backs, but you don't have to have one. It's better if you do. It's not an absolute necessity. But yeah, at this point, we only have Inigo Martinez and Landry Farre. Let's see. Jose Aguilar. Wait. Aguilar. Okay. Jose Aguilar says, Athletic acted like Osasuna, shaking my hand. Small team vibes. 100%. Again, I don't understand it. I simply don't understand it. They're acting like this is the first time in the history of football, in over a century of football, that a club is trying to sign a player from another club. I mean, I guess before this, players just grew on trees, and then clubs just went and picked the players off the trees like you pick apples. And never, ever before has any club in the history of football tried to sign a player from another club. Never, never. Only Barcelona would do such a thing. Only Barcelona can be so corrupt and so evil and so immoral that they would do such a vile thing to sign a player from another club. Only Barca would do that kind of thing. Every other club in the world, they just go and pick players off trees. They don't sign them from other clubs. That just doesn't happen. Only Barcelona are the only club in the history of football to dare to sign a player from another club. How dare Barcelona? Like, what the F, Barcelona? How could you? How could you sign a player from another club? How? Shin, thank you so much, my friend, for your donation. Says, happy Friday, bro. See you at noon mañana. Yes, sir. Mañana, noon. For all the channel members, your weekly member-only podcast. Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will drop a post later today, so let me know in the post what do you guys want to talk about, what do you want to hear, etc., etc. My man Klaus says Romario was number 10. Yes, Romario was number 10. Very legendary players who wore it, plus Ansu Fati. It's like, where did we go wrong there? Big She West says, hello, Mo. I'm Big She West. It's 12:40 in Nigeria. We appreciate your great job over Barcelona News. We love you. Keep it up. Top guy. Make sure you press the like and subscribe. Well, thank you, my friend, for staying up late and watching the podcast. Thank you for your comment as well. And yes, please hit the like button. It really, really helps the channel. It prompts the algorithm to promote the video to people who've never seen it. Believe it or not, hitting the like button is probably the biggest thing you can do to support the channel. Because again, it tells the algorithm, hey, people are watching this video. People are liking this video. Show the video to other people. Let's see. Mo, I hate Real Madrid even more. They hype them up because they won. Salzburg, who are mediocre, think they're going to win everything. I mean, honestly, I have no idea what's going on with the Club World Cup, nor do I care about the Club World Cup. I think it's an absolute ripoff of a trophy. It's honestly a bribe. If you don't know what I'm talking about, FIFA have been trying to organize like a Club World Cup like this for quite some time. I think they tried it in the early 2000s and it failed miserably. And now they're trying it again. And the reason why FIFA are doing this is a money grab, right? Because what's the most watched tournament, like international tournament, is at a club level, of course, not at the nation level, is the Champions League, right? But who profits from the Champions League? It's UEFA, not FIFA, because it's UEFA, the organizer. So FIFA are kind of trying to get some of that money at the club level, because FIFA only makes money mostly off what? The World Cup, because that's what they organize. All the other competitions, the two biggest club level ones, is the Champions League, the Libertadores. Libertadores is organized by CONMEBOL. The Champions League is organized by UEFA. So FIFA was like, yo, we make a lot of money off nations, of international squads, but we don't make money off clubs. How can we make money off clubs? So they were like, oh, let's do the Club World Cup. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Saudi Arabia paid $2 billion. Can't remember if it was euros or dollars. Let's just say $2 billion. For the rights of the Club World Cup. And guess who is hosting the 2034? Yeah, 2034 World Cup. Saudi Arabia. So all this is just one big scam. This is Saudi Arabia bribing FIFA to get the World Cup in 2034. And this is FIFA not only accepting a bribe, but also trying to cut into the profits from club football. And that's all it is. So honestly, fuck that tournament. I don't care about that tournament. I mean, the matches are absolute shit. We're talking about like matches that nobody wants to watch. You're talking about zero display of football because the smaller teams who cannot keep up with the bigger ones, all they do the whole time is just fouls and kicking, and it looks more like a wrestling match than an actual football match. And the big teams, they don't even give a shit. They're just there. They're just happy that they got their 50 mil already just for participating. So they're not even playing with intensity. Even if they try to play with intensity, they can't because their players are absolutely exhausted because they just play the whole entire season. And now they have to play another tournament in the heat here in the US. It's like, dude, it's just a fucking fiasco. It's just it's a summer carnival. That's what it is. So fuck the Club World Cup, fuck FIFA. But let's do the next bit of news because Javier Tebas has clarified or has talked about what happened in that meeting between the crybaby, mediocre, pathetic club called Athletic Club de Bilbao. By the way, the name is actually English, Athletic Club. But no, in Spain, they call it Athletic Club. This is why I call it Athletic Club. I don't know why people ask it like, oh, what do you say? Très belle. Because the original word is in French, très belle. But anyways, which, by the way, stop asking me that. Just fucking Google it. All right. But this is what Javier Tebas had to say about the meeting between him and the crybabies from Athletic Club Bilbao in regards to the whole Nico Williams saga. Now, La Liga's president said Bilbao complained because Deco's statement expressed his desire to sign players. According to FIFA regulations, he is in a protected period and we have no authority to interfere with that. What we will do, as we have always done, is that FC Barcelona will have to comply with the regulations in order to register players, whether it is Nico Williams, Haaland, Messi, whoever. And we will not change anything. He continues, Athletic Club de Bilbao doesn't need to issue any statement. This is talking about the statement that they issued, right? It's our duty to clarify doubts about financial fair play. We are transparent. We don't reveal the deep economic details of clubs, but it is known that there was a meeting of the division committee in February in which the reasons of the salary caps were explained and the situation of Barcelona was explained because we have the Olmo case. Barcelona doesn't have a one-to-one rule, and I hope they achieve it as soon as possible. They already know what they need to do to be in the rule. Bilbao also knows what Barcelona must do because we were very transparent in February so that no one would question financial fair play. So that's what Javier Tebas had to say. Pretty much clarifying that during the meeting with Athletic Club Bilbao, no specific details were discussed in regards to Barcelona's finances, because of course that's protected by confidentiality rules, but that he explained to them what they already knew, what every club knew, because this was discussed in the February meeting, and what everybody and their mother knew, because we all fucking know what's going on. And that is that Barcelona are not under the one-to-one rule. But here's the thing. Whether we are or not, it doesn't affect the signing of players. It affects the registration of players. Something that I expected a football club like Athletic Club de Bilbao, who have to abide by these rules, would fucking understand. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me expand on this. The financial fair play rules were established for a reason. To protect clubs, financially speaking. If a club is spending crazy amounts of money, they're spending more than what they're bringing in. They have crazy amount of debt. The financial fair play are there to protect that club from itself. It's saying, hey, you're spending like crazy. Let me set some limits on your spending. That way, you don't end up going bankrupt and you cease to exist as a club. Because before financial fair play rules, there's a lot of clubs who have just disappeared off the map of the earth because of that. Because they spend too much. They end up in very, very heavy debt. They can't pay that debt. They file for bankruptcy and the club ceases to exist. So in order to avoid that, in order to avoid clubs from overspending and ended up being bankrupt and disappearing, that's what the financial fair play rules are for. The financial fair play looks at how much money you made, how much money you spent, and based on that, it allows you to register or not register players. But it does not hinder your ability to sign players because it can't, right? Legally speaking, you can't tell someone how to spend their money. If they want to be stupid, then, well, that's on them, right? It's not illegal to be stupid. It should be, but it's not illegal to be stupid. But what the financial fair play does is try to encourage clubs not to be stupid. How? By saying, look, if you're spending like crazy and you're spending way beyond what you actually make, we're not going to allow you to register players. You can still sign the players. You can go to the bank, borrow €1 billion and sign 100 players. You can do that, but you're just not going to be able to register them. So by doing that, that encourages the clubs not to sign the players to begin with, because what's the point of signing 100 players if you can't register them? So in that way, the financial fair play rules try to prevent clubs from overspending and then eventually going bankrupt and eventually ceasing to exist. Okay? So whether Barcelona has the money or they don't have the money to trigger the release clause, it doesn't fucking matter. That does not prevent them from doing it. The financial fair play does not prevent Barcelona from triggering the release clause. What it does prevent, if Barcelona cannot reach the 1-1 rule, it would prevent them from registering Nico. Nico could still come to Barcelona. He would still be a Barcelona player. But if they're not under the 1-1 rule, then they won't be able to register him. So Athletic Club de Bilbao, there's nothing you can do here. As long as Barcelona pay that release clause, that's it. The player is Barca's. Whether they can register him or not, it doesn't fucking matter. For fuck's sake, you should know this. You are a football club. Some random YouTuber like myself should not have to be explaining this to you. You should know this. You should be the one explaining it to me. After all, I'm not in the football business. I'm a lawyer, not in the football business. I don't even live in the same continent as you. So what the actual fuck? Anyways, by the way, someone told me that I curse a lot. I know I do. I should work on that. But it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Because you see what I'm dealing with here, right? Like when I have to talk about things like this, like Athletic Club Bilbao going like crying to Tebas because they're mad that someone's going to sign their player. I mean, how else should I react? I mean, seriously, this is like the kid who is losing and gets mad, so he takes his ball home, which, by the way, I have lived through that when I was a kid, playing on the street, and then you start winning, and then the kid who owns the ball is like, that's it, I don't want to play, and grabs the ball and leaves. That's literally Athletic Club Bilbao right now. But anyways, let's get back to the comment section, and then we are going to talk about, well, Nico Williams again. We're still on Nico Williams, but this is positive news. News is not going to piss me off because Barcelona have set a deadline on when to trigger that release clause, and I cannot wait for that deadline so we can all watch Jean Uriarte and the rest of these pathetic losers at Athletic Club Bilbao cry. Jesse says, guys, check out a player called Breno Bidon. He's just 20, plays exactly like Pedri, but I feel bad that Barcelona are not even looking at him. I mean, you shouldn't feel bad. Again, we have 20 midfielders. The last thing we need is another midfielder. That guy says, how does the 1-1 rule help us register players freely? Oh, I just explained that. I guess I anticipated your comment. Hey, what's happening? Jesse says, you'd not be a Barca president with those beards. I mean, I don't know what the beard has to do with it, but yeah, I would definitely not be a Barca president because I'll be going off on people on the mic. Like, I'll be like, hey, like, I'll be like, Mr. President, how do you feel about Athletic Club Bilbao? All right, hold on. Let me talk about these little bitches, these crybabies, these fucking idiots. And then next thing you know, the socios would just like fire me because they're like, all right, bro, you cannot go around insulting people. And I'd be like, but why? But they're stupid. And they would be like, yeah, they are stupid, but you just can't call them stupid to their face. And I'll be like, why not? They are stupid. I'm lying. I'm being honest. So yeah, that would never work. That would never work. Luke says, hi, Mo. Just a question. I see Barca Boy 103 hasn't invited you back to his podcast or channel. What did you do to him? I don't know. I mean, if he wants to invite me, I'll be more than happy to go. If anyone wants to invite me to their podcast, I'll be happy to go. I've been invited to Barca Boys podcast. I've been invited to the Culé podcast, which is a really cool podcast. I got invited to another podcast, which right now I'm blanking on. I'm sorry, but my memory is terrible. And I'm always happy to be guest on podcasts. I don't know. I have nothing against anyone. Whoever wants to invite me, do so. Just know that sometimes I could be too honest. And sometimes people don't like that. But hey, I'm just not going to change myself or how I speak because other people don't like it. But no, I don't know. I didn't do anything to him. I don't think there's anything like going on between the two of us. I think he just invited me once and that was it. But I don't think there's anything like going on. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Kunche says, hey, Mo, nice to catch you live for the first time watching from the UK. All right, let's go. Gavna. Just kidding. That was terrible. Thank you, my friend, for watching. I know it's pretty late over there. Thank you. I really do appreciate. Kelfa says, hey, Mo, shouting from St. Vincent. Let's go. I'm always watching all your live, etc. Keep up the good work. Everyone likes, comment, and subscribe. Yes, please, everyone comment, like, and subscribe. There's so many people from the Grenadines, by the way, from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And it's actually a lot of people from the Caribbean, period. I love that. I love the Caribbean. When was the last time I was in the Caribbean? It's been a while, actually. I think the last time been a couple of years, maybe 2023. Yeah, a couple of years. I need to get my ass to the Caribbean again because I love the Caribbean. I love the people. I love the beaches, the weather, everything, the food. There's just some of the nicest people in the world. And Mohasi says, hey, Mo, it's been months since I commented on your live videos. Bilbao are trying to bring rivalry between them and Barca. It will be a derby. Here's the thing. They're not our rivals, though. You know, they really are not. You know, Barca's rivals are Real Madrid, PSG, Bayern Munich, Liverpool. Those are Barcelona's rivals. Athletic Club Bilbao, it's a mediocre mid-table team. Their rivals are Real Sociedad. Their rivals are Real Betis. Those are their rivals. Like, these fools are like trying to step up to us. And it's like, bro, you're not even in the same level. Like, you're way, 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 way beneath Barcelona. Like, why are they trying to force this rivalry? There is no rivalry, you know. Wolves don't concern themselves with the opinions of sheep. And that's the reality. So it's like, I don't know. It's like me trying to pretend like Mr. Beast is my rival. He's not. He's, you know, a million levels ahead of me. Like that's pretty much Athletic Club Bilbao right now. But anyways, let's do the last bit of news. And it concerns, well, Nico Williams, since we're still on the topic of Nico Williams, because ladies and gentlemen, Barcelona have set a deadline on when to trigger the release clause of Nico Williams. Now, Nico Williams has already reached an agreement with Barcelona. He will be joining until 2031. He will earn 7 million euros net salary. It's all agreed upon. Salary, bonuses, variables, etc. But of course, in order for the player to be released, Barcelona have to pay, well, the release clause, which is 58 million euros. But once you factor in inflationary costs, it becomes 62 million euros, something that Barcelona don't have any problem paying. Sources at the club say that Barcelona don't have a liquidity issue when it comes to paying the release clause. In other words, Barcelona have the cash to pay it, so they're not going to have to take out any loans. This money will come from Barcelona's account. Barcelona have that money in their account. Barcelona will be able to pay the release clause. Now, you might say, how? Well, first, we had the VIP seats deal. Remember, Barcelona sold the rights to VIP seats at the Camp Nou for 100 million euros, which was not counted because the seats were not built yet. But now that the seats are built, Barcelona should be able to count those 100 million euros, plus all the players' exits, right? There's so many players that are on the move that Barcelona are making money off. For example, Todibo. Barcelona made, 8 million euros off that. Plus all the other list of players. Barcelona about to offload Pablo Torre for 5 mil, etc., etc., etc. So between the two, Barcelona have the cash on hand. They don't need a loan. They don't need to borrow money. They don't need installment plans. Barcelona have the 62 million euros in cash on hand, so they are able to trigger the release clause. So that is not a problem. And because they do have the cash, they're not going to have to trigger any levers. They're not going to have to sell any assets. Nothing. No sale of assets, no loans, no installments, nothing. The cash is there in the bank account. They'll be able to withdraw it and pay. How nice is that, by the way? I wish I had 62 million euros in cash just laying around. But anyways, no liquidity problems. Barcelona have the 62 million euros. They will be able to pay it, and they have a set a deadline of around July 1st or July 2nd. Why is that? Because as I've explained before, that's when the new fiscal year begins, and Barcelona want that expense counted as under the new fiscal year. Now, they haven't explained why, but just looking at the numbers, I imagine it's because if they counted it under this fiscal year, it would end up causing Barcelona a loss. Because right now, Barcelona are anticipated to end the fiscal year, the 2024-2025 fiscal year, which ends on June 30th, with around 60 million euros in profits. That means once you take the money that Barcelona made, you subtract how much money they spent, Barcelona have 60 million euros in profits left. The release clause is 62 mil. If you spend the 62 mil before June 30th, that would count for the current fiscal year. That means Barcelona would end with negative 2 million, right? 62 minus 60, negative 2 mil. So that would mean Barcelona would end the year with losses, and that would, of course, affect the financial fair play for next fiscal year. That's my guess. That's probably why Barcelona want to do it under the new fiscal year. But either way, whatever the reason is, Barcelona have set a deadline of July 1st or July 2nd to trigger the release clause. Again, Barcelona have the cash on hand, so they will be able to trigger the release clause. And if they can't do it by July 1st or July 2nd, which is, by the way, right around the corner, they will do it by the end of that week, July 6th, the latest. But by next week, Barcelona will trigger the release clause of Nico Williams. Nico Williams will be released from his contract with Athletic Club de Bilbao, and he will officially become a Barcelona player. Now, Barcelona want Nico Williams to be a Barcelona player by the preseason, which starts on July 13th. And definitely before the Athletic Club de Bilbao preseason begins, which is July 9th. Because Barcelona don't want to put the player through the uncomfortable position of having to report to preseason with Athletic Club and then be like, hey, guys, I know I emptied my locker. I know I already told you guys I'm leaving, but hey, I'm here because Barcelona haven't paid my release clause. Yeah, bye. That would be very awkward for him. So again, July 1st or July 2nd at the latest at the end of next week. So by next week, ladies and gentlemen, Nico Williams will become a Barcelona player. So subscribe to the channel because, of course, as soon as it happens, I will be here telling you all about it. All right, that is all the news for this podcast. We got through it. Yay. Let's do the comment section. Then we will end the podcast. And, of course, later today or tonight, I will be uploading another video because there is more news, as always. Lots of news. Barcelona keeping us busy. But my man Klaus says it's 1:16 a.m. in the UK. Wow, that's pretty late. Thank you, my friend, for staying up late, and everyone who's watching from the UK or even other countries where it's also pretty late. Thank you for staying up late to watch the podcast. Make sure you get some good night's sleep afterwards. Araf says, hey, Mo, what do you think Barca will go for after Nico, and you do think we can afford them? Here's the thing. We don't know for sure because, again, June 30th and the fiscal year. July 1st, completely new fiscal year, new financial fair play, new wage cap. Barcelona will trigger the release clause of Nico. They will register Nico. They will register Joan Garcia. And then, depending on how much wage cap Barcelona get, and depending how much money left on that wage cap, once they register Nico Williams and Joan Garcia, then Barcelona will decide whether they can sign someone else. So we first have to do that. Start the new year, fiscal year, get our new wage cap, register Nico, register Joan Garcia, and then we'll know whether we can sign someone else. And that someone else, if we do have more space on our wage cap or wage bill, would be most likely Marcus Rashford, which shouldn't be a big problem because he would come on loan and he's willing to reduce his salary by more than half. Rebank says, hey, Mo, what will happen if Barca unable to go back to Camp Nou after the first 3 matches away? Honestly, I'm a bit nervous about it. The city of Barcelona, which are the owners of the Olympic Stadium, Luis Companys, where Barcelona played for the next 2 seasons, have said to Barcelona, hey, if you want to keep playing here, you're more than welcome to do so. And of course, they're saying that because Barcelona are paying them a buttload of money to rent that stadium. I think it's 7 or 8 million euros per season. So, of course, the city of Barcelona are like, yeah, stay as long as you want. Yeah. So that's probably what's going to happen if Barcelona have to. Now, right now, Barcelona have no intention of doing that. Barcelona are confident that they will play the rest this next season at the Camp Nou. So there has been any arrangements or anything, contracts or anything with the city. In fact, they've already emptied all their stuff out of the Olympic Stadium. So no plans to do that. Barcelona are confident that they will build the Camp Nou, but in case it doesn't happen, God forbid, then there's always the Olympic Stadium option. Which, by the way, it's kind of a shitty stadium. It's very old. It really needs a revamp. Buzz Drift says, I honestly feel Mo was too honest for Barca boy. Mo felt Xavi should not be the head coach and Rafinha was not killing it that season. Mo didn't flow with the status quo. Yeah, that was a big point of contention. You know, I mean, that was a big point of contention. To be fair to Barca boy, that was a big point of contention for everybody. I think I was one of the very few people who was constantly saying that Xavi was shit and that Rafinha was shit, and I caught a lot of flack for it, including people who were subscribers to the channel. Like every video I made was literally just littered with comments of people just freaking out, like, "Nah, fuck you, Mo. What are you talking about? You're just a hater. You're just toxic. You're a Madrid fan." That's my favorite when people are like, "Oh, you're a Madrid fan," and it's like, bro, I've been a Barca fan longer than you've been alive. But anyways. So I did catch a lot of flag, but here's the thing. I'm never going to change my opinion just because people are insulting me. Like, I'm an attorney. I literally deal with people who are, hostile towards me every freaking day. Whether it's opposing counsels, whether it's defendants, whether it's my own clients, right? It's like I deal with this every day. I'm just not going to change my opinion just because you're mad about it. It's like you have your opinion, I have mine, and that's fine. I don't know why people obsess on like, no, you have to agree with me. And it's like, no, I don't. The same way you don't have to agree with me. Like you don't see me losing my shit. Like, agree with me, damn it, right? But people for some reason always like, oh, you never change your mind. I've literally gotten those comments like, oh, you don't change your mind, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, why do I have to change my mind? Why don't you change your mind? See what I mean? It is like none of us have to. Like, this is a lot of this thing is opinion. Obviously, there is things that are fact, and that thing is not about opinion. Well, a fact is a fact, period. But when it comes to opinion, it's like, dude, I have mine, you have yours. If you don't agree, that's fine. Like, why do people lose their shit whenever they come across someone who thinks differently? And it's like, oh my God, he has a different opinion than me. What do I do? I gotta scream and yell and get mad and insult them. It's like, no, you don't. Just accept the fact that going through life, you're gonna come across people who don't agree with you. And that's everywhere. You just can't avoid it. Family members, friends, co-workers, everywhere you go, not everyone's gonna think like you. And that's good. That's not only okay, that's actually good. Different of opinions is what makes the world constantly evolve. So yeah, I cut a lot of flack from a lot of people, but I think time proved me right because here we're seeing literally the same exact squad under Xavi, no trophies, complete fucking disaster. Everybody humiliated us, including Athletic Club de Bilbao. Same exact squad under Flick. Best team in Europe, right? Rafinha, People were like trying to convince me that he was an amazing player. Look what he did under Flake versus what he did under Xabi. Like, completely different player. I'm talking about like almost 60 goal contributions this season. Last 2 seasons, it was like 30 total or 40 total. It's like he tripled his numbers. It's like crazy. But anyways, it is what it is. Let's see. Anonymous says, hey, Mo, what do you think will be the plan for Rooney Bargi for the next season? Is he going to get any minutes with the first team, or will he be sent on loan? So right now, as far as what sources at the club are saying, is that Rooney Bargi will be a Barca Athletic player. That's a Barca Athletic signing, a player that will most likely play with Barca Athletic, but strictly train with the first team. What happens with him will fully depend on him. If Rooney Bargi arrives and all of a sudden starts killing it, then I'm sure he'll start playing more and more with the first team. If he ends up taking more time to adapt, then I'm sure he'll spend more time with Barca Athletic than with Barcelona. But that's the plan as of now. Now, having said that, the loan option is still an option. Barcelona could still send them somewhere else for this upcoming season so he can get more minutes and develop, right? Because let's say Barcelona send them to, I don't know, Valencia, right? He would be getting first division minutes versus if he stays at Barca, he would be getting fourth division minutes with Barca Athletic, right? And first division minutes are much better than fourth division minutes. So right now the plan is he will play with Barca Athletic, train with the first team, but there's also the loan option on table because, you know, he is killing it with FC Copenhagen. But after all, with all due respect to FC Copenhagen, it is FC Copenhagen. So that's not the same as playing for FC Barcelona in first division of La Liga. And we have another donation from Shin. Thank you so much, my friend, for your generosity. But it says your ability to stick to your opinions and not go with the status quo, as to speak, is what makes you the best Barca news outlet on YouTube. Well, thank you, my friend. Here's the thing about opinions. Obviously, opinions can always change if there is new available data and new available facts that would lead me to change, which I have done that. For example, Frankie de Jong, I really gave him a lot of shit when the whole contract renewal was going on. I said, fuck Frankie, blah, 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 blah. He's like this in the club, not answering the phone calls. But then I saw the same pattern emerge with Ter Stegen, and I start seeing the same pattern emerge with other players that Barcelona were trying to kick. And then I was like, hold on a second. Maybe everything we heard about Frankie when Barcelona were trying to push him out was not true, because we're seeing a pattern where Barcelona engage in this kind of smear campaign to push players out and turn the fans against them. So I said, I'm sorry, Frankie. Obviously, he's not doesn't watch the channel, never will. But if he did, I'm like, I'm sorry, Frankie. I apologize. I was wrong about that. I still think he was an inconsistent player, but I was also mad at him, not just because of his inconsistency, but I was also mad at him because of what he was doing privately as a person. So I'm no longer mad about that, because now I have that doubt in my mind that maybe that things never happened, right? That was just Barca smearing him. So if there is new available data, new available empirical data, new available facts that could change my opinion, sure, I will. But what I will not do is change my opinion because people want me, right? And that's not something you want either. Why would you want to watch a guy that comes on here and is like, all right, guys, I think, I don't know, Lamine Yamal is great. Oh, wait, you don't think it is? Oh, okay, yeah, he's not great. He's not. I take it back. Oh, wait, you do think he's great? Okay, yeah, he's great. Oh, wait, you don't think he's great? Okay, no. Why would you want to watch that? Why would you want to watch someone who changes their mind just to appease people, right? Someone with no spine who will just gonna say whatever you guys want to hear. Do you really want that? No. I mean, I wouldn't. Why would I want to watch a person like that who has no spine and just changes their mind just because they want to say whatever the people want them to hear? So I will not change my mind just because someone wants me to or because someone is insulting me. But I will change my mind if, new data emerges or new facts. And I'm like, okay, yeah, now I think differently, right? And that's what you're supposed to do, by the way. Because I also hear people like accusing someone of changing their mind. Oh, they're flip-flopping. It's like, not necessarily. Sometimes new data emerges. We thought the world was flat. And then we did calculations and we found out that it's not flat. Does that mean you're a flip-flopper? No. New data emerged and now you change your perception of things, or you change the way you see things. So anyways, but thank you, my friend, for your donation and for your comment. Let's do a couple more comments and then we'll end this. But Beezy says, hey Mo, I'd like to assume as a lawyer you probably watch Suits. Would Laporta be an interesting character in the show? Here's the thing. I have watched Suits, and as a lawyer, I absolutely despise that show. That show is absolute bullshit. It has nothing to do with the practice of law. Literally every fucking episode is the same thing. We got sued. Oh, okay. Let's dig dirt on opposing counsel. Oh, found it. Opposing counsel is cheating on his wife. Let's go blackmail him and tell him that if he doesn't drop the lawsuit, we're going to let his wife know that he's cheating on her. It's like, that's not a practice of law. That's a fucking felony. You cannot blackmail people and threaten them to expose shit if they don't drop a lawsuit. Which, by the way, even if they did, they're not dropping the lawsuit. They're dropping the representation. That means that client who's suing to begin with can always hire another lawyer who's not cheating on his wife, and therefore you cannot blackmail him. And by the way, you try to blackmail an attorney into dropping the lawsuit, you're going to lose your license like that. It's very easy to lose your license as a lawyer because it's inherently a very powerful license. So that show is full of shit. Plus, why the fuck would you hire someone who's not an attorney and make him pretend he's an attorney just because he has a photographic memory? That is the dumbest thing ever. You can hire him as a paralegal. You can hire him as a consultant. Why would you want him to pretend to be a lawyer when he's not a lawyer? That's how you lose your fucking license. That show is stupid. I'm sorry. It gets me really, really mad. I imagine this is how doctors feel when they watch medical shows like the ER or Grey's Anatomy or everything. But Suits, I don't recommend it. It's a dumb fucking show. Eduardo says, I hate the channels with AI voices reporting the fake things that aren't happening. Oh, man. Yeah, I really do. Even if they're reporting the right thing, I'm just so tired of the same fucking AI voice. It's like, yo, just use your own voice. Like, why do you have to do an AI voice? And Jesse says, new club name, Pathetic Bilbao. I love it. I love it. Anyways, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. I swore I wasn't going to make my podcast more than an hour long, but I guess I failed on that promise. Thank you guys for listening to me yap and babble for a whole hour. Thank you for your comments, your likes, your subscriptions, your generous donations. If you haven't hit the like button yet, make sure you do. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. And if you haven't commented yet, make sure you do. I want to hear you guys' thoughts about everything I talked about. I will be posting another video later tonight, so we'll see you guys in that video. And as always, now and forever, Visca Barça.